नमस्ते फ्रेंड, आप सभी का एक बार फिर से वेलकम। और फ्रेंड्स, जैसा कि बैंक रिटायरीज और बैंक एम्प्लॉइज़ के हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस ग्रुप मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस आईबीए द्वारा जो 25-26 के लिए रिन्यूअल होना है, उसके लिए 13/6 को मीटिंग हुई थी। इसके पहले 12/6 को भारतीय मजदूर संघ ने वित्त मंत्री श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमण को इस आशय का एक पत्र लिखा था, हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस ऑफ रिटायर्ड बैंक एम्प्लॉइज फॉर 25-26। और उन्होंने इस बारे में ये कहा था कि बैंक रिटायरीज की जो हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम के बारे में, हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस का जो पॉलिसी है, इसके बारे में कोई फाइनल सेटलमेंट अभी तक नहीं हो पाया है। हालांकि इसी कारण से 80% रिटायर्ड एम्प्लॉइज बिना इंश्योरेंस के हैं, क्योंकि ये जो प्रीमियम है वो अफोर्डेबल नहीं है, जिसके वजह से लोग इंश्योरेंस लेने से बच रहे हैं। It is an equally important issue like pension updation. The minimum health insurance of retired bankmen is utmost necessary to ensure minimum health protection for all. This situation continues to persist because the guidelines of DFS issued wide dated 24 February 2012 have not been implemented in letter and spirit. We enclose a copy of this letter for ready reference. उनका कहना था कि 2012 में खंडेलवाल कमेटी के आने के बाद उसके गाइडलाइंस को डीएफएस ने इन बैंकों को इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए कहा था, लेकिन वो इम्प्लीमेंट आज तक नहीं हुआ, और जिसकी वजह से बैंक रिटायरीज को ये दिन देखने पड़ रहे हैं कि वो बिना किसी हेल्थ प्रोटेक्शन के जी रहे हैं। उसमें जो इट इज फर्दर स्टिपुलेटेड दैट नो कैश पेमेंट शैल बी मेड टू एम्प्लॉइज एक्सेप्ट फॉर मेडिकल एंड एजुकेशनल पर्पजेस, जो 2012 के लेटर का रेफरेंस है, उसके बारे में बैंक्स में कंसीडर the option of group insurance policies for both serving and retired employees instead of direct payment of benefit from the fund. From the above, the following become very clear. No cash payment except for medical and educational purposes from welfare fund. Banks may take group insurance policies for both serving and retired employees instead of direct payment of the benefits from the welfare fund. The IBA authorities remained seated over said letter over 3.5 years and allowed banks to use entire allocated welfare fund in a haphazard manner, depriving legitimate health cover to retirees. We would like to bring to your kind information the appropriatements of the welfare funds as envisaged in KCR 2010. First, 25% for the education of children and employee. Second, 25% for health insurance of employees, 25% for health insurance of retired, and rest 25% the board of banks can frame schemes. On 25th May 2015, after the 10th bipartite and 7th joint note was signed, health insurance issue was discussed between IBA and unions. Two separate policies were taken from United India Insurance Corporation, one for working personnel and other for retired ones. Premium for working was paid by banks from welfare fund, and for retired it was left unretired. Two policy decisions were fatal but made by IBA. It trained havoc on the retirees in subsequent years as a premiums increased in subsequent years unabated. IBA ने बैंक रिटायरीज को उनकी हालत पे छोड़ दिया, और तभी से बैंक रिटायरीज इस प्रॉब्लम को फेस कर रहे हैं और जो बढ़ा हुआ प्रीमियम देने में सक्षम नहीं पा रहे हैं। We humbly request you to kindly look into following. First, as per DFS advice, GIP was to be taken for both working and retired from welfare funds. It was not done. Result has been health security to all retired could not be ensured. Second, single policy would have been economical, but intentionally two separate policies were taken which jeopardized retirees' interests. Full premium was charged on single person policy by United India Insurance. It was totally unethical and again against trade practices. United India Insurance was allowed to increase retirees' premium in unprecedented manner every year. 2 years ago, UIIC was replaced by NIC on previous year premium basis and further NIC reduced single person cover premium by 50%. 6. Retirees drop out of health coverage reached to 80%. Last year 24-25, IBA decided to have a single joint health insurance policy for working and retired. It could bring down the retirees' premium by 45%. In light of the above, some key questions arise. First, when single health insurance could be possible for 25, why was it not taken in 2015 and 16 onwards, which could have saved crores that retirees had to pay? When banks were advised to consider the option of health insurance for both working and retired employee, why did they consider health insurance only for working and left retired uncovered? Third, when single person premium could be halved by NIC, why was it not done by the United India Insurance? Both are Government of India insurers. How can UIIC be allowed to follow unethical trade practices? So far, no accountability has been fixed. Intention of allocation of welfare fund by Government of India has been to ensure certain welfare measures to working and retired in addition to their service contracts. The purpose was to motivate the workforce and also reward retirees to make them feel contented. In health matter, gave equal importance to both working and the retired. That's why KCR earmarked Khandelwal Committee report earmarked 25% of the welfare fund each for working and retired, which banks have not followed. Banks have played havoc with the health of retired people by restoring to most casual and callous behavior. The aim of minimum health security for the retired, as envisaged in Khandelwal Committee Report 2010, has been jeopardized. The welfare fund allocated by Government of India has been diverted for some other purposes than it was meant for. All public sector banks have been resorting to highly discriminatory health insurance subsidy routes. Barring one or two banks, all have allowed subsidy only on policies said to be approved by IBA and United India Insurance and National Insurance Corporation. In other words, banks have been found incentivizing United India Insurance, NIC, with amounts to unfair trade practices. Premiums are paid by retirees, then how banks can deny subsidy? If one buys from his chosen insurer, subsidy is not to promote the interest of insurer but to protect the interest of insured. SBI is giving very good and the comprehensive health cover to its retirees. SBI is one of the public sector banks owned by Government of India. All banks are doing similar trade and have very identical performance in all parameters according to their size and strength. Given the similar status of all public sector banks, other banks are indulging in sheer discrimination in this regard compared to SBI. We therefore request you to please intervene in the matter and direct the management to give minimum health insurance to all retired bank employees. Health security to all is a minimum need. Please help resolve this over decade old problem related to a section of senior citizens who contributed to their mite for the growth and development of banks when they were there. With respectful regards, yours sincerely गिरीश चंद आर्या। और कॉपी इसको एम नागराजू, सेक्रेटरी DFS गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को दिया गया है। हालांकि ये पत्र 12/6 को लिखा गया और 13/6 को IBA और UOB के कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स ने मिलकर कुछ डिसीजन लिए। कंबाइंड पॉलिसी ली गई और बेस पॉलिसी का कवरेज बढ़ाया गया। लेकिन क्या रिटायरीज को खंडेलवाल कमेटी रिपोर्ट के हिसाब से 25% ऑफ द वेलफेयर फंड का जो एलोकेशन किया गया है रिटायरीज के हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस के लिए, क्या वो बेनिफिट मिलेगा? क्या वित्त मंत्री इस बारे में ध्यान देंगी, अथवा पूर्व की तरह ये इस साल भी रिटायरीज को एक ज़्यादा से अधिक प्रीमियम पे करके प्रीमियम पॉलिसी लेनी पड़ेगी? ये बात अभी अनिश्चित है। हालांकि BMS ने जो पत्र लिखा था उनका इंटेंशन सही है, लेकिन क्या इसका फॉलोअप होगा? जब तक ये फाइनल अंजाम तक ना पहुंच जाए, रिटायरीज को बेनिफिट ना मिले, जो रिटायरीज का इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम है वो जब तक बैंक द्वारा वहन न किया जाए, तब तक सारे पत्राचार बेकार है। थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स, नमस्ते।